Hey, howdy, hey, it is Faith Talk Live. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
Well, I didn't really want to prep for the show. I just kind of wanted to wing it because sometimes they're better if they're wung. Is it wung, Dan,
Wung?
or wang?
Wanged?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
we better not say wang. No.
Not sure.
Winged.
Robin O'Brien, Mark Stancil, and I just now got your message, Robin, about today's show. You sent it yesterday, and this is what it says.
Okay.
Hi there, Rick and Dan. Mark and I can't be in the same place this time. Can we get a second link? So instead of talking about the other stuff on here, do we need to counsel at this point? Are you guys are you not together anymore? What's the deal?
Tucker and Marietta are very far. And actually, I went to Tucker yesterday because we were meeting with a group of people that we helped lead a divorce ministry with. So
yeah,
2 days in a row is just a lot of gas money. Okay, to be honest. with you.
Yeah. Tucker ain't close when you live over on the west side of town.
Well, I was a little concerned by that, and I thought, but I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad everything's is good. And Robin, may I say, that is a very sharp Santa's hat. I don't know that I've ever seen one that classy.
It's got a wild side touch to it with the leopard skin or whatever that is.
Oh, hold on, and it go jingle jingle. It's got a little ball, same color.
There
It's got
you
the,
go.
I guess this is a leopard print. It's a leopard print Santa hat.
Yeah. Okay.
No doubt when she was a punker and she used to listen to like the Ramones and the Sex Pistols and those people, she probably picked that up, and that's
probably
was her thing.
That would be it. No, that was back in the day when I was cool before I became a mom.
Yeah. So you're not cool anymore now that you're a mom.
No.
So
it happens.
But I did want, when we bought the minivan, I said, can I get a vanity plate that says I love Jesus and the Ramones? And I never actually ended up.
I love that. I love that.
I should have done it. Now I just have an American flag on the front of my. So, hey.
God bless America.
God bless America.
Mark, do you guys ever talk about the punk days, and how do you feel about that? Or maybe you were a punker.
Were you a punker?
No. We talk about the punk days. It's usually at like a karaoke party where everybody gets together and says, what song can we karaoke now to make Robin the most uncomfortable. So it's usually a Phil Collins song.
Yeah.
Rush is kind of difficult, for a man to sing.
Yes, it is. Very.
So, and she loves Rush. And who else was
Steve
that?
Perry. Steve Perry
was
and the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kokomo. Yeah.
She also, loves Mariah Carey. So just the season.
Great.
Unleash Mariah Carey onto Robin.
No, thank
at
you.
the Christmas karaoke party. So we're looking forward to that.
So Robin, were you excited to see Mariah Carey on the Thanksgiving parade?
I love Jesus, so we don't watch the parade anymore.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
They're parading all kinds of things.
We watch the 90s and 80s ones from YouTube.
I got you. Okay.
It ain't right than parades.
That's funny.
Mark
Stancil and Robin O'Brien with us. We love hanging with them. I love what you guys do. We love having you on show and cutting up and that kind of thing. Always have. But you guys really have a heart, as you mentioned earlier, for folks that have gone through divorce. You both have, and you've lived to tell about it. You've taken the pain and you've turned it into something that God can use to help other people. Thank you for doing that. And it's, it's interesting to see what God does because people that you minister to, I don't know that can really be ministered to. Maybe this is a misnomer. Effectively, I could not minister to. I've been married 40 years, so I don't know the pain and the problems and the joys. I'm free, so I don't know that I could do that effectively. On a level, I could, I'm sure, no doubt, and have. But you guys have been in the trenches, and it's almost like you have the speak. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for doing that. I'm sorry you had so much pain, but isn't it interesting how God can use pain and minister to people that don't have hope or think they don't have hope?
And he does.
So what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about, I know you want to talk about singles newly single and single moms during the Christmas season. Again, that's another. I mean, I'm not a single mom.
Right.
No, and you don't look like one either.
No.
So.
Well, it depends on what part of the country. Habersham County, I might be a single mom, but that's a whole. If you're from Habersham County, I'm sorry. That was a low blow.
Call Shamsa.
Sorry, I won't do that again.
Rick, you can identify as a single mom, you know.
Yeah.
these days.
That's right.
While
Anything
I'm
you wanna
watching
be.
Mariah Carey in the parade.
Oh, gosh,
Sure. Yeah.
Boy.
So let's talk about Robin. You want to start off? I'm sure,
Yeah, sure.
Mark can chime in as a single mom. Sure. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
well, we were talking before about the holidays are like really a time of something to be prepared for, because you can kind of go along with the flow, but the holidays unpacks of a lot of emotions for people who are newly divorced and single moms. And I would say this also is that the hardest part is saying goodbye to your kids, because sometimes the holiday, like Christmas, is broken up.
Yeah.
Like for me, at 12 o'clock on Christmas Day, the kids go to the other direction. We switch. So, hey, I get half the day. So every year it changes who gets Christmas Eve in the morning, and then who gets the rest of the holiday. So that can be an emotional point for moms. And I think if you're I'm strong, I'm going to be okay, that you should prepare. And especially if this is your first time, because it was very emotional for me the first year that I encountered the holidays as a single mom. My kids had to leave, and I literally just started crying because, they're gone. And now, and it's weird for them because they have to pack up all their stuff,
Sure.
go to this other house,
Yeah.
and go pretend that everything's normal, or, when it's been a huge shift. So I think for the moms, I also would say is that there's a part of like, it's pretty isolating and it's pretty traumatic what's happened to you. So make sure that you accept help when it's offered. So if someone says, hey, can I bless your kids with this? Say yes.
Yeah.
That is the Lord trying to love your children.
Yeah.
Just say yes. They want to take them out. They want to take them shopping for you. I have a friend of mine, God bless her. She would take my kids to the store to buy gifts for me. And that made them feel special, and that they could, give something. And I don't know, I just learned to say yes. And if it's a little embarrassing, because you're like, oh, we're okay, we're making it financially right on the edge, just say yes, because it blesses them to give to you. And the other thing I've learned is that make a plan. When the kids leave at 12 o'clock, go have a lunch or somewhere where you need to be at 12:30. Get in the car. Don't be like me and start drinking whiskey, staring out the window, watching Longmire episodes on Netflix. Not a good idea.
That's very specific, Robin.
Is that a true story?
Notice she didn't say drinking whiskey, watching the Thanksgiving Day parade.
No.
Yes. Or
That's
Phil
right.
Collins videos. So.
Yeah. I think that is so good because and you brought up a point. I mean, I knew this, right? It's hard on the kids, but they do. I would help me here, and I don't want to point fingers at ex-spouses at all. This is not what this is all about. But there's got to be a certain amount of anxiety thinking that while the kids are there, that somebody's pointing the finger about you. And so there's got to be a fear there. Are my kids being brainwashed on some level? Maybe.
Yeah.
And so that's got to be a fear. That'll make you drink whiskey and listen to Phil Collins. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, that you brought up a fine point, which is why when you're talking to your kids, always think, if this came out of my former spouse's mouth,
Yeah.
how would I feel about that? And I've stepped back and gone, you know what? I'm not going to dig too deep. I'm not asking questions.
Right.
I don't want to know about them. Like, that starts to make things weird and conflicting for the kids.
Right.
So always be careful in your speech, because your kids are half of you and half of them.
Yes.
So, and it'll always be like that.
Yeah, and one thing that we talk about a lot in our classes is because for some folks, this holiday is the first holiday that they're going to spend without someone that they've been in a relationship for years, decades, and so everything is turned upside down. Everything is different, but in spite of all those things, and let's be honest, sometimes a lot of the responsibility for the breakup of the marriage was with the other spouse. So it's okay to be honest with yourself about that, and the adults sitting at your table of advisors, but it's not something that you need to tell your children, okay, come around, little Bobby and Cynthia. Now your father is on the naughty list, and so he's not getting anything for Christmas. So we're going to put some coals in his stocking here. We're going to use his stocking at the dog park to clean up after the dog.
Oh my!
All these
Oh, boy.
things that we're doing. So there's so that's why we tell people who are going through this, have a plan. Don't be sitting at home on Christmas by yourself with no plan to spend the day with people that love you, right? People who are in your corner in a good way, people who are wise advisors who will just love on you and hug you and look you in the face and smile and pray for you. You want to make sure that you're sitting in a room with those people, not by yourself, with you in your tears, drinking whiskey and watching Longmire episodes on Netflix, right?
Let's just shoot the dog. I mean, you could be sitting home, drinking whiskey, watching Longmire. I mean,
that's right.
That's right. Yeah. Hey, let's do this. Let's reset. We want to keep you for another segment, so let's reset. We're talking with Mark Stancil and Robin O'Brien, and we appreciate them. We'll tell you. We're going to talk a little bit about family single groups that you can get connected with, maybe specifically talk about theirs, talk about maybe some other ones depending on where you are geographically in the metro Atlanta area. And we'll talk also about what's going on with the comics, etc. with Mark. No doubt that's still going on. Hey, what a pleasure to talk with Mark and Robin. Always love hanging with them. And, we joke a lot, like we were just joking about the whole whiskey and Longmire. And I'm glad we can do that. But it's the truth, right? There's no doubt how many single moms or single dads, and you say at noon, they got on Christmas, they got to go spend it with the other one, and you want them to. That's just a hard one, to look at. You look at yourself going, I'm a failure again, or, that idiot over there, their father or their mother, that kind of thing. So, but don't go, don't go there, but go to a group of people. And you've mentioned this, both of you, a couple of times. Go to a group of people, hang with a group of people that believe in you.
That's right.
That may be a group that is like a single group or not, right? Let's talk about single groups. What's a good idea? What do you guys do?
Okay. Well, there's one group that Mark and I are both involved with is called Oasis over at North Point. And that has, they have a group for divorced people and for separated people. And it's more, Oasis is more of a seeker-friendly church. So, people can come in at different levels. And it's a group format. And we have found is that sometimes they do allow like Zoom calls. Sorry, the dog's walking around. They allow Zoom calls. And then, but person to person, face to face is really like the better.
Yeah, I would
definitely.
It is. And Oasis is really good. And then there's divorce care, which is a little more in-depth, maybe a little bit more advanced than Oasis in some cases. But the thing is to be in a room with people who know what you're going through, people who are going through the same thing. And, let's be honest here. There's always two sides to every story when there's a divorce. There's my side and then there's the idiot side. Right. And sitting in a group of people can help you sort of see things from a more objective perspective. And, for me, honestly, if you're a guy, you're like, are all women crazy or are all women mean? Or, sitting in a group with men and women, you can actually see women who have gone through what you went through. Right. Whatever that was as bad or whatever. And you can say, okay, these are sisters in Christ, and they went through the same thing I went through. So it helps you sort of get over that. Are all men? Do all men do this? Do all women do this? And sort of see things from I think more of a godly vertical perspective.
Yeah.
So,
right.
All right.
And we like divorce. I like divorce care because in addition to that, they also offer a divorce care for kids program, which they really pour into the kids. And every time my kids would come home from me, they'd be like, I'm like, what'd you learn today? They're like, It's not our fault. So they really drill that into the kids.
Well, that's
and
good.
I appreciate, like, Johnson Ferry in Marietta has a program starting up in January. And over at Oasis at North Point, they have programs also starting up in January, February. So, plug into those groups. And divorce care is a little bit more intense. But I would say it's different in the fact that divorce care shows you vignettes of videos from like 6 or 7 different perspectives. So even if you don't identify with one of those people in the stories, there's other people who he's like, yeah, I came home, just wanted to kill my wife. And there's people in the class going, yep, I can agree with that.
And you move further away from them. And
Yes.
So there's somewhere along the line that you'll plug into. And sometimes the video aspect allows you to emotionally connect with other people for some odd reason. As you know, movies can make you feel sad or glad.
Right.
So I appreciate that program too. And having a place where the kids can go in a different room than you and get loved on is an amazing thing too.
Yeah,
it is. And, in terms of having a plan for the holidays when you're going through separation or divorce, you're going to be at parties where people are going to say, hey, so-and-so, where's your spouse?
Yeah.
You need to be prepared for that question. Right. You need to have not a long story, because, some people.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah. And Robin, you've talked about, some people, they ask you, where's your former spouse or stuff because they want to hear all the dirt, they want to hear all the gossip.
Right.
You need to have, maybe a 1-sentence reply to that, whatever that is.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, probably sleeping with someone else is not a good answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a good thing.
Yes. But, in your plan, you need to have self-care in there somewhere. Just taking care of yourself, doing things that you enjoy. Very, very important. If you have children, make it fun for them.
Yeah.
Right. Drive around and look at the Christmas lights, drink some hot chocolate, Christmas movie night, whatever that plan is. Let's not be sitting around with the kids, oh, I'm so broken up.
Right.
You need to have a plan to make this a great holiday for yourself and for your children.
Yeah.
And, make new traditions because things are different now.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a candlelight service. Hey, kids, let's go serve others. That's a great one, right?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my dad owned a firewood company. And we'd, come on, boy, because that's what he called both me and my twin brother because he can't tell us apart. And we'd load firewood on the truck, and we'd go to some elderly person who didn't have enough money to, heat their home during the winter. And we would just take a load of firewood, and we'd coast in the truck. We'd turn it off so they didn't know we were there. And in the darkness, we would unload the truck, and then we would be gone like Santa Claus.
That's awesome.
Wow. That's
so
cool.
doing little missions like that with the kids, it makes it all better. And Robin, do you want to talk about the holiday tradition that involves a spoon and a condiment from the refrigerator?
Well, now you have to tell.
Tradition now where we all eat a spoonful of mustard for good luck.
Oh.
So that's pretty disgusting. A more palpable thing for your family might be a Christmas walk or a New Year's walk. So something kind of healthy and getting out and getting some fresh air, because staring at the same 4 walls, and sometimes there's some memories in those walls, you know,
sure,
and then you look over, or if your kids are gone and because you've just been watching Longmire all day, you're like, wow, I remember when I used to look at that couch next to that tree and there were people sitting in it today. So, be prepared.
So good.
Yeah.
Mark Stancil and Robin O'Brien. Well, we got a few minutes left. Let's talk about the comics. I think the last time we talked about the comics, and they are just amazing. What's going on? Perfect time for Christmas if folks want to get them. I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still in production on this comic book series called Dominion: Follow the House of Saul. It's a comic book about the life of King Saul, the first king of Israel. And we just finished chapter 4 and released that. So, it's a lot about Saul's son, Jonathan, and his courage in battle and all that stuff. And, in Dominion, all the characters are sort of anthropomorphic animals, and they fly around in spaceships and use lasers and all kinds of stuff. So it's something where if your kid or your comic book lover is familiar with the Bible, they're going to be familiar with the story. It's going to resonate with them. If they're not familiar with the Bible, though, or even if they're not even a Christian, we do the work so that it's excellent and it's entertaining. So you don't have to be a Bible person to love this comic book. And we try to pour as much love into these books as we can, because we love God and we want to serve Him, and we want to serve the people who read these comics. And hopefully it makes them thirsty to go back to the ancient scrolls in the Bible and read the story of Saul. And because there's a lot of lessons to learn about, just about being obedient to God, how important that is. Saul felt like, maybe Saul's plan might be better than God's plan. And, that didn't work out so well for him in a lot of categories, whether it's, not obeying God about the, Amalekites and doing what God told him to do there, or, going to see the Witch of Endor, which was totally not cool for him to do. And so, when we make decisions against what God calls us to do in our lives, there's consequences for that. And so we spell it out, and but it's entertaining and it's fun, and hopefully, cool comics for Christmas is what we're mailing out to a whole bunch of folks. So yeah, folks can go to terminusmedia.com and check that out.
That's awesome. That's what I was looking for. All right, we got to take a break. Mark Stancil and Robin O'Brien. I just had a thought, Dan.
Yeah.
And Robin, if Mark's dad couldn't tell the difference between Mark and his twin, how do we know we're talking to Mark?
Oh, you can tell.
Oh, you can tell.
Robin knows.
Robin knows.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I will say Mark's brother once tried to trick me and talk to me on the phone and acted like Mark, but he was meaner. So
He was meaner.
I got really mad because it was like, this is not like Mark. Like, Mark is not mean. So when I saw him, I punched him in the chest.
Oh, good for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Robin.
I still have a little, bruise there. I totally deserved it, though. I totally deserved it.
That's funny.
Well, hey,
In my defense, I was at my karate class's Christmas party, so I was kind of in the mode. So
yeah.
Okay.
Well, you guys have a Merry Christmas, and we will pick up with you after the first of the year, see what you guys are up to. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. I'm Rick Probst.
And I'm Dan Ratcliffe.
This is Faith Talk Live.